Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jared Virgil with Receiver Cable 6 Sports, and I'm joined here tonight with Mitt Kirkland, and we'll be calling the game for the fourth and final game of the quarterfinals Holiday Prep Basketball Classic. And this game will be featuring the Dothan High Tigers versus the Abbeville Yellow Jackets. This is probably a much awaited game in this tournament after Abbeville was successful in knocking off Randolph Clay in the first round, and Dothan High was successful of beating Enterprise. So Mitt has some stats concerning those two games.
Yeah, Jared, this should be an exciting game tonight. Abbeville, they're ranked number 1 in 4A, and they're sporting an 11-0 record. The other night against Randolph Clay, they edged Randolph Clay by a score of 76-74. And Abbeville was led by Deshaun Danzy. He had 25 points, so you need to keep your eyes on him. Dothan's sporting a 5-4 record. They eased by Enterprise by a score of 68-51. The Tigers were led by Chris Springfield with 22 points. He was 6 of 11 from 3 points, hitting 3 in a row. So he's going to be a factor in the game tonight if Dothan's going to be able to beat Abbeville. Larry Brackens added 20 in the game against Enterprise. So it's going to be a tough game tonight. Dothan's going to have to play their very best to stay on the floor with Abbeville, because Abbeville's a really good team, and they knocked off the 5-time defending champions of this tournament, Randolph Clay, to advance to this round. So it's going to be tough for the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, Abbeville haven't done that. You kind of get the feeling now in the atmosphere that Abbeville is the team to beat. And you better believe Dothan High realizes the seriousness of this game, and that Abbeville probably is the team to beat in this tournament. And I tell you what, it's definitely going to be a game that everyone that came out to see. You know, the places are just about packed tonight. Dothan is the hometown team, but I tell you what, this is kind of like a neutral territory, and you better believe Abbeville has quite a few hometown fans themselves that's come out to support the Yellow Jackets. And we're going to announce the starting lineups for the team tonight. For Abbeville, the starting lineups: number 10. A 6-foot senior playing the forward position is Derek Wright. Number 14, Marquise Green, a 5'10" senior playing the guard position. Number 22, Leon Sewell, a 6-foot sophomore playing the forward position. Number 40, Chris Jackson, a 6-foot sophomore playing the forward position. And number 44, Deshaun Danzy, a 6'4" junior playing the forward position. And for Dothan, number 10, Chris Springfield, a 5'7" senior playing the guard position. Number 15, David Blocker, a 6'3" senior playing the forward position. Number 21, Adrian Former, 6'3" senior playing the forward position. Number 33, Dennis Dury, a 6-foot junior playing the guard position. And number 44, Larry Blackens, a 6'6" senior playing the center position. So both teams seem to be pretty well matched up as far as positions and height go. I don't know who's going to have the slightest edge. I think Abbeville, of course, is the game. We're going to want to come out and try to control the game and make Dothan bring their game to them. And I think Dothan just wants to come out and try to establish some sort of presence on the court themselves and get some things done offensively and defensively on the boards. And I think Larry Brackens is going to be a big key to the Dothan High defensive rebounding, because Abbeville is a very good rebounding team, very sound fundamentally, and it's going to be pretty much up and down game, I think, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly what type of adjustments have to be made by Dothan in order to accommodate for Abbeville's aggressive team.
Jared, you made a very good point. Brackens is going to have an exceptional game tonight. And Springfield's going to have to, the whole Dothan team is going to have to play extremely well to stay in this game tonight. Abbeville is very aggressive, they're very talented, and they're well coached by Moses Knight. And so they've been there before, and they're looking to win this whole thing this year. So Dothan can play the role of the spoiler. They can go out and they can be more aggressive and more focused and just play better defense, and they could possibly pull this game out.
Yeah, so number 44, Brackens, and the 44, Danzy, tipped it off. Abbeville controls the ball, and number 40 comes in and makes a pass to Danzy. He kicks the ball back out, passes back in, and the number 40, that's Chris Jackson, a sophomore, and the shot is off there, and David Blocker comes down to rebound.
That was a very good defensive series by Dothan. Dothan put a lot of pressure on the players from Abbeville, and they tried to get the ball up and weren't able to make it happen.
And David Blocker comes up with a big shot, and I've got a lot of confidence in David Blocker. I think he's a very talented guard, and if the coaches allow him to play within his game and don't restrain him from playing, I think he'll have a very good game for Dothan High.
I think what you're going to see tonight, I think you're going to see two teams going at each other. Now, I don't think there's any love lost between these two teams.
Oh, yeah, both of these teams know each other very well. They play a couple of times throughout the regular season, and as you saw when they were coming out on the court, they each were, shaking hands and showing good sportsmanship. But once that ball went up, all that went out the window.
Yes, and the fans are very competitive, too. They're more as competitive as the players are.
Yeah, look at David Blocker coming out, really establishing the tempo for Dothan High. He comes out and drains a three-pointer, and then he comes down on the fast break and takes 2 points. So he has the first 5 points for Dothan High tonight. And Dothan has a 5-0 lead over Abbeville with 6:53 left to go in this game.
I think what's happening, Dothan's trying to set the tempo of this game, and that's what you have to do. Yeah. If you're the underdog and you're going up against the top-ranked team in the state of Alabama in their division and sporting an 11-0 record, then you got to go out there, you got to be aggressive, you got to go for everything, and you just got to make them. You got to make them work. And Dothan's coming out there playing very well so far. Mitt,
this is only a quarterfinal game, but they're playing with the intensity of a championship game. So, it's going to be exciting to continue to watch the course of this game. Number 33 for Dothan has the ball. Bringing it across midcourt, that's Dennis Dury. Setting up the offense. Swings it over to number 15, Blocker, who's got another wide-open three-pointer. And Blocker is just on fire tonight. Blocker comes out with the first 8 points for Dothan High. And I tell you what, Mitt, I really like the play of Blocker at this point. The young man is very poised. He's a senior on the team, a 6'3" senior who is really coming up big for Dothan High early on in the game.
I tell you what, Blocker came to play tonight. He came to play. He has reeled off 8 straight points, 2 3-pointers and a 2-pointer, and Abbeville is scoreless. Here it is, 6:22 left in the first quarter. Yeah. So I think Dothan came out ready to play tonight.
Yeah, Blocker definitely is going to play. Came out to make a statement. I think after the first game, there were several plays that were questionable about Blocker, and I kind of overheard the coaching and get into his ear a little bit and let him know some things. But Blocker's a senior. He's been here before, and he definitely understands the game. And already he has the first 8 points, and Abbeville had 0 with 6:22 left to go in this first period.
Well, see, Blocker's a senior, and that's the key. He's coming out, and he's taking charge, and he's been the leader so far in this game. And he's got to keep the leadership role in order for Dothan to really stay in this game.
Number 30 for Abbeville launches a three-pointer off the mark there. Larry Brackens gets the rebound, pushing the ball down court. Once again, Blocker running the court, has another opportunity to convert, and Blocker is just really on fire. What can you say about this kid coming out the blocks tonight? I tell you what.
He's in the zone tonight.
Blocker giving on an exciting show. He's got the opportunity to have the first 11 points of this basketball game. This is exciting.
What happened there, Jared? Dothan High did a very good job of blocking out. They had 2 defenders under the goal with the rebound. And once they blocked out and were able to get the rebound, then Blocker ran down court and they were able to get the ball to him, and he made the points.
If I'm a collegiate scout, I've got to really like what I see from Blocker at this point. I mean, he's getting the job done. He's 2 for 2 for 3-pointers. He's also 2 for 2 in the field else play. He's shooting 100% from the field. He's off the mark on his free throw there, but the young man's really come out with a lot of intensity and a lot of heart and is leading this Dothan High team. Abbeville still not able to get anything going. And now finally, Abbeville able to convert with their first points of the game. That's Chris Jackson, a 6-foot sophomore, able to clean up and get the rebound there for Abbeville.
I tell you what, they had to work for it.
And look at Blocker again. Blocker right now has all 12 of Dothan High's points. This is incredible.
The score is Blocker 12 and Abbeville 2.
He's putting on the show for us tonight.
Good defense by
Larry
Dothan.
Blackens comes up with the block. So I tell you what, man, this is the Dothan High team that's playing with a sense of urgency. They're playing like they belong in the final game, and as if Abbeville has to get past them in order to win.
Well, see, last week Dothan was down at Spring Hill College in Mobile, and they played against the #1 team in the state of Alabama, which is Bagger, and so they played against some competition this year.
Nice play here. Finally, someone other than David Blocker comes up with a score. So, my goodness, Dothan has really come out very explosive this first quarter. It's 14-2 with 5:04 in the first quarter.
Yes, Dothan has forced Abbeville to call their second time out here in the first quarter. And Dothan's playing very aggressive. Brackens went up for the first shot. He missed it, but he got his own rebound and put it up and scored 2. So Dothan's run off a 14-2 lead, and they are playing extremely well.
Yeah, there's an 11-point lead, but let's keep in mind, Abbeville is the #1 ranked team in 4A basketball. They're 11-0, undefeated, and I tell you what, you better believe that Abbeville will get composed.
They will. Coach Knight, he's talking to me, he's saying, settle down, guys. Y'all make them play. You're playing Dothan High's game. Now we got to make them play our game. And what Dothan's coach is probably saying, hey guys, keep this level of intensity up.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Y'all are doing the right things. Keep the defense, play aggressive defense, and work the boards.
So here we go with 5:04 left in this first quarter. Dothan High has really just come out exploding to a 14-2 lead over Abbeville. And now number 32 for Abbeville. That's Dexter Smith, 5'10" sophomore, bringing the ball across court. He's met by Dothan High, number 10. Abbeville working the ball around.
Dothan is making work for everything. They are.
Number 22 comes in out of control for Abbeville. That's Leon Sewell. And Larry Brackett comes away with the rebound but turns it over. So you can't have turnovers like this against Abbeville because they will capture. Nice block. Great defense by Dothan High. And now, once again, up and down court quickly.
I'll tell you what.
Number 21 comes up with a big basket here.
Jared, I'm in a state of shock, and I think Abbeville is too. Dothan has come out, and they are playing some great basketball.
Yes, Dothan High definitely is the team that is playing with a lot of intensity right now. They're fired up about this game, and Larry Brackett comes up with another big block. And I tell you what, everything is going Dothan High way, and nothing is going Abbeville's way.
I think what's happening, Dothan is doing a good job of blocking out, and they're getting the rebounds, and they're looking for the open man. Once they get the rebound, they're looking for the open man down on the other end of the court, and they're getting it to him and getting the points.
So with 4:02 left to go in the first quarter, Dothan High has a big lead on Abbeville, 16-2. And I tell you what, unless you were here to see it and just heard about it, you probably wouldn't believe it at this point. And now Abbeville gets an 5-second violation call, so everything right now in Dothan High's favor at this point.
They forced the turnover there, and we'll see if they can make some points off this turnover. Dothan is playing extremely well so far.
I tell you, everybody just really excited at this point. Dothan High now working in their half-court offense. Adrian Foreman with the ball, looking for some help, kicks it out to Larry Brackett. Down to David Blocker. I think they want to keep David Blocker. Double team as much as possible. Number 10, wide open three-point attempt off the mark. And once again, Abbeville now, well, the ball was tipped by a Dothan High player. So 33 left to go in this quarter.
That was good defense on Dothan's part by forcing the ball out of bounds, which prevented Abbeville from making a fast break on that one.
Number 10, Derek Wright with the ball, directing the offense at the top of the key, works around to the left side, almost loses the ball, gives it up to number 40. That's Chris Jackson holding the ball back over to right. Thinks about the three-pointer, pulls up, and now number 14, Marquise Green has the ball working on the right side, kicks it down to Chris Jackson, and he's on the mark. Good shot by Jackson. Hits a two-pointer down deep in the corner with 3:08 left to go in this first quarter. Dothan High brings the ball across mid-court. A dangerous pass by Adrian Foreman, but David Blocker able to control the ball, dribbling between two Dothan defenders. And look at that, just everything going well for him. Nice pass by Blocker in the middle. Larry Brackett keeps the ball open at number 10 for wide open three-pointer off the mark again, but another rebound. Now Abbeville comes down with the rebound. And not a good foul, or the ball may have been dribbled out of bounds. I think David Blocker got his hand on the ball over there.
Yeah, that was good aggressive defense to keep him from getting the fast break again. And that time Dothan couldn't get it to fall, so Abbeville's going to see if they can get something to happen. Great block.
I think Larry Brackett has about 3 or 4 blocks this game, and Adrian Foreman. You like to see a big man that can block a shot and keep the ball in play for your team.
I tell you, Brackett has done an excellent job playing defense tonight.
He's getting the rebounds, he's blocking shots, and I tell you, he's really helping the intensity of this game for Dothan High.
I tell you what, it's different Brackett from the other night. He's playing with a lot more intensity, and he's been a lot more aggressive rebounding, and it's showing up. It's showing up on the scoreboard. If you look up there, an 18-4 lead with 2:13 left in the first quarter, and that's Dothan High leading 18-4.
Got a pushing foul right now, number 34 for Abbeville. There's Douglas Craddock, 6'2" junior.
Number 34, Douglas Craddock.
Ball will be on the floor. Number 33, Dennis Dury, set to inbound the ball. Number 10, Chris Springfield with the ball. Pushes it to Larry Brackett. Brings the ball back to the middle of the court. Oh, nice pass by Brackett. a great defense by Danzy, but he's going to get whistled for a foul.
I think he got him with the body there, Jared. That was a good block, but I think he got him with the body, so Dothan High will be going to the foul line.
He may have got him with the body. I don't know. It looked like a clean block to me, but nevertheless, there was a whistle.
We don't have instant replay, so we can't take a look at that one.
We got 1:58 left to go in the first quarter. Dothan High with a very big lead over Abbeville at this point, 18-4. David Blocker on the line. Completes the front end of a two-shot foul, and I believe David Blocker has about, 11 points at this point in the game, 11 to 12 points.
He has at least that many. Blocker has played an outstanding first quarter.
I'll tell you what, he's on track to probably have a 40-point game if he keeps this up.
Yes, if he can keep this level of intensity up, Abbeville's going to have their hands full.
If I'm a college scout, I really got to like what I'm seeing out of Larry Brackens and David Blocker at this point in the game. So with 1:44 left to go in the first quarter, number 40, Chris Jackson launches the three-pointer. He's off the mark.
That was good defense on Bracken's part. He made the Abbeville player change the shot. He put his hands up, and he had to put more arch on it, and it fell short.
So David Blocker with the ball now for Dothan High School, getting the ball across court. Almost a dangerous pass. Gets to the Adrian Former, who launches the shot to Larry Brackens. My goodness, what a play from Adrian Former to Larry Brackens with the alley-oop dunk. And this place is just really going crazy. The fans love it. The players love it. Dothan High is having a good time, and now they're off to the races again. Dennis Dury with the ball. And I tell you what, Mid, that's about as exciting as it gets to have Adrian Former connected with Larry Brackens from the baseline on the alley-oop dunk. With 1:10 left to go in this first period, it's 22-4, and Dothan High is just dominating this whole game right now.
It's exciting, Jared. It's really exciting to see the level of intensity these guys are playing with. I mean, they are giving it everything they got, and they are making everything difficult for Abbeville. Every shot is being challenged. Every move is being challenged. And on the other end of the court, Dothan High is making Abbeville work hard to try to prevent them from scoring, and so far it hasn't worked.
I know we're giving a lot of credit to David Blocker and Larry Brackens, but the whole team is really playing well together. I tell you what, everybody's running, getting up and down court. Everybody's sticking their man. Nobody is slacking up on offense or defense. Everybody's playing with intensity, and it's just that Blocker and Brackens happen to be the two that are benefiting from that. So as you can see, Adrian Former comes up with a turnover there, and now it's pushing the ball down court. David Blocker with the drive. Looking for some help, gives the ball to Blackens on the inside. Nice block by Danzy. So
that was a good block by Danzy, but that's good. Dothan, they worked it around, they taking it inside, and like I said, they're gonna challenge Abbeville on every time they go down the court, and they're on the offensive side of the goal.
We got 41 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Abbeville down 22-4. And with the other turnover there, now Adrian Former running again. And pulls up 2 more points on the board. So, my goodness, in the first period, Dothan High is up by 20 points.
Yes, and they forced the turnover and were able to connect on that turnover.
Right now, Abbeville really is just dazed and confused. They really have no sense of direction, no offense going for them, no defense going for them. And Danzy, no one can come up with any shots. Dothan High is getting it done in every area. The rebounding, the defense, the offense, and it's just looking great with 1 second left. And I tell you, it would have been just fitting for that shot to have gone down.
Jared,
in the first quarter.
Jared, I think half of the Civic Center is in shock right now. I think all of the Abbeville fans are wondering what in the world is going on. And the Dothan fans are just delighted to see the performance by the Tigers this first quarter.
It is exciting, man. I tell you what, I don't think I was not anticipating Dothan coming out with this level of intensity, especially with David Blocker scoring the first 12 points of the game, and now being up 20 is Dothan High over Abbeville. Abbeville hasn't even scored probably in the past 6 minutes of this game.
I don't think they have either, and Dothan came out. I mean, they came out red hot, aggressive. Adrian Farmer came out and hit the first 8 points for Dothan High, and we'll try to give you statistics on how many points he's scored so far. We'll try to get that for you.
Been tremendous.
I mean Blocker. I'm sorry, I said Farmer, but I mean Blocker is
It's the excitement that's got you a little dazzled there.
let me warn you people, if we get kind of carried away here, please excuse us.
In case you didn't know, Mick Kirkland is a former Dothan High basketball standout, and he might be a little biased in this game, but
Jared, it was stand in.
And once again, Adrian Foreman comes right out, and they start the second quarter out just like the first. They're picking right up where they left off. Now Danzy with the drive. Nice drive by Danzy. Misses the layup, reverse layup. Can't get his own rebound, but Abbeville players there to pick it up. Larry Brackens fills in the passing lane. Ball loose on the floor, and Dothan High comes away with the ball. Adrian Foreman pushing the ball down court.
I tell you what, Dothan is playing so aggressive.
He traveled.
They are really playing excellent defense. They are scrapping for everything that's moving. And Abbeville is having to just work just to try to get a basket. And so far, they've only been able to get 2 baskets here with 7:28 left in the second quarter.
Everything is going Dothan High's way, but you just can't help. But the thing that Abbeville has something inside that's going to allow them possibly to make a run at some point in this game. You don't know. Abbeville, like we said earlier, are the #1 ranked team in 4A basketball right now, posting 11-0 record. And, you know, you just can't count them out just yet. They are down by 22 points, but there's a lot of basketball left to go. And we just want to see Dothan High continue to keep the same intensity, and maybe Abbeville will get something going for them offensively for them. And right now you see a miss by one player, but number 44, Deshaun Danzy, is able to put it back with 7:12 left to go in this second period. Bad pass by Larry Brackens there, you know, just really overthrew the person.
That was a careless pass. Dothan can't lose focus. They just allowed Abbeville to score, and then they just turn the ball over. So they can't do that. They've got to remain focused and try to make the right decisions. Good decision making. And they forced a turnover there. Dothan's got to keep making good decisions in order to maintain the control of this game.
Dothan High holding a very large 20-point lead with 6:52 left to go in this half. Substitutions being made by Abbeville. Number 12 coming in for number 14. Number 12 will be Shy Crawford, a 5'10 junior playing the guard position. Ball inbounds to Dennis Dury. Dennis over to David Blocker. Blocker bringing the ball down to Adrian Foreman, who lobs it up again from Larry Brackens. And I tell you what, those two have connected again for the same play. And these guys have been playing together for, I think, probably their high school career, and they're very familiar with one another, and also very good players on the football field as well, so they're very comfortable with each other's play, and they're just putting on a big show right now for the fans. And a great block from behind by,
I tell you what,
Adrian Foreman, but I think he's going to get whistled for a foul.
Dothan is playing extremely well. I tell you, that was a beautiful slam by Brackens. That's his second alley-oop of the game, and they came down and played good defenses, but they committed a foul, but that's okay. That's okay.
Wow, and now the crowd beginning to chant LB, LB for Larry Brackens, but let's keep in mind that David Blocker is also leading this Dothan High team right now in points. So, I mean, you're just getting such a great effort from so many players on Dothan High right now. The stars have really come out and shown a lot of intensity, a lot of heart and tenacity, and they're playing as if they're the defending champions in this tournament.
Yes, they are. They came to play tonight. There's no doubt about it. They definitely came to play.
Nice control by David Blocker. I tell you what, I think he's wanting to be perfect from the field tonight. He kind of frowned on himself as he missed that shot.
that was a good aggressive offensive player. He took it right to him, and he didn't get the basket, but he got the foul. So he'll be at the foul line, and hopefully he'll get something out of this possession.
I tell you, David Blocker has really, really impressed me. I've known this kid for a couple of years now, and I've seen him grow. I never knew he was such a great basketball player. I've known him through a couple of other activities in the community that I've been involved with, and he's always been a kid hanging around, a good positive attitude. And I tell you what, I really like his heart that he's showing here. And he's a senior. He's got a lot to show. And I tell you what, he definitely is playing a great game tonight. So with 6:09 left to go in this half, Dothan High is up 20-7 with a comfortable 22-point lead at this point.
And they're still playing aggressive defense. They're making Abbeville work for it.
And I think Danzy's going to get called for a foul.
I tell you, this game so far has been really exciting, especially if you're a Dothan High School fan. If you're an Abbeville fan, you're not too happy with the way things have gone so far.
Yeah, that's Adrian Fulmer whistled for the foul, his first foul and the team's second foul. So Dothan High doing a good job of not getting in foul trouble.
Abbeville has missed their second foul shot of the night. So we'll see if they can connect on this one. He misses both of them, and Abbeville comes up with the ball.
Oh, great block by Larry Brackens. Larry Brackens such a strong defensive presence tonight. He's not really taking anything from anybody down low. Now Dennis Dury comes away with the rebound. David Blocker in the wide open court. Nice layup by Blocker.
David Blocker is playing some outstanding basketball tonight.
I'm about speechless. I'm just really, really surprised with the play I'm seeing out of this young man tonight. He is playing excellent basketball.
Like I told you, this guy's in the zone tonight.
Yeah, you get in those zones sometimes, and you know, once you get in and you feel so good, you don't want to come out.
You know, when you're in the zone, everything else is just blanked out. The only thing you see, you're so focused on the game, so you don't see anything around you.
Yeah, you don't hear anything, and the basket is just as big probably as the half-court circle. So, and was that another block by Larry Brackens?
That was another block by Brackens, and then he forced the turnover.
You know, we got some serious stats to check on at halftime because these guys are putting on a show.
I mean, they are putting on a show.
31-7 in the second period, and I tell you, they're on track probably to score 100 points this game.
Well, if you look at it, Jerry, you would expect things to be the total opposite because Dothan High has a 5-4 record, and Abbeville's sporting a 11-0 record. So, you know, things are totally different from what one would expect.
A little bit out of control. Chris Jackson dribbling the ball out of control for Abbeville. Another block by Adrian Fulmer. And Larry Brackens in the open court. Another dunk. He's going to get whistled for the travel. They wave it off. No basket. He couldn't get his steps right.
I don't know about that one. Yeah. They should have gave him that one anyway.
It's exciting, but you got to play by the rules.
Yeah, I know. But
nevertheless, the crowd loved it. It didn't matter if he traveled or not.
It didn't matter if it counted or not.
Yeah.
They love what they saw.
So with 4:18 left to go in this half, Dothan is winning 31-7. And this is really just an exciting game to see for Dothan High if you're a Dothan High fan. If you're an Abbeville fan, you kind of really appreciate the 2 points right there. You wish they can get more of them, though. And once again, Larry Brackett's moving down court. Oh, nice pass. Adrian Fulmer not able to hold him to the ball, but double dribble. He touched the ball with 2 hands. You got to be careful about that. They have another unforced turnover.
That was Dennis Dury.
Yeah, Dennis Dury there forcing the turnover. Gets called for the double dribble with 3:54 left to go in this second quarter. 31-9. Dothan High is leading at this point, and we have some stats that we're going to definitely get for you at halftime and let you know who's the leading scorer, how many points Larry Brackens has, David Blocker has, and the number of blocks also in this game. Because I tell you what, this team really has pulled together and is showing great poise.
Abbeville's trying to get something going, and that's foul on Dothan High on number 21.
On Dothan number 21, Adrian Fulmer. That's his second, team's third.
You know, everyone really wanted the title to come back to this area after Randolph Clay had won for 5 straight years. And I know the hometown, whether you're Dothan or Northview, really probably wanted to see either one of those teams bring it back. So I think it would be only fitting that Dothan wind up playing Northview in the semifinal game on Saturday, but they have to still get past Abbeville first.
Yes, there's a lot of time left in this game. I was watching the game. Alabama had a big lead on Notre Dame early in the second half, and they had a 20-point lead, and they wound up winning that game by 3 points. Alabama did. So, you know, you can have a big lead early, and you can lose it, but the way you prevent that from happening, you just have to stay focused. You work on your fundamentals. You play good defense. You rebound, and you just work hard to get open. And that's what Dothan's done. And they've got to keep doing that in order to maintain this lead and to win this game.
So with 3:24 left to go in this half, Dothan is leading by 21 points, 31-10 over Abbeville. Adrian Fulmer with the ball, pulls the ball back out. Dennis Dury now has the ball to top to keep back to Fulmer. Former working to the middle and comes up with a nice score. Dothan High was very patient on that series, man.
That's what you have to do. You have to show some patience. Don't get in a hurry. And you work the ball until you can find an open man. And once you find an open man and he scores, then you do exactly what you want.
Tell you what, Larry Brackens was streaking down the side there. I think he's hoping the ball was going to come down the court a little faster because he might have decided to go up for another one.
All right. Dothan with a 25-point lead with 2:39 left in the second quarter.
Oh, wow. Everything just off the mark from Abbeville tonight. They haven't been able to get anything going for them on offense. And Dothan High is keeping the intensity, also pushing the ball. David Blocker gets blocked that time by Deshaun Danzy, now pushing the ball down court. Nice pass by Danzy to none other than the 34. That's Douglas Craddock with the score.
Jared, I think what may have happened to Abbeville, Randolph Clay, who was defending champion for 5 years in a row, Abbeville beat them in the first round. So what may have happened is Abbeville may have felt like, okay, this is the hardest team in the tournament. This is going to be the most competitive team. Well, we beat them, so we don't have anything else to worry about. We'll beat these other teams.
Oh, and by David Blocker.
So you can have a mental lapse where you're not really in the game because you're looking toward the championship game and not looking at a game by game.
Yeah. Deshaun Danzy with a nice shot on the inside. 37-14, very convincing 23-point lead does Dothan High have over Abbeville. 1:33 left to go in this first half.
Abbeville hasn't really been able to cut any points off this lead that Dothan High has been carrying for a while.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's going to be difficult for them to fight back at this point with Dothan High playing with so much intensity. And they're not letting up. They're continuing to be relentless and on every side of the ball, offensively and defensively.
What Dothan's got to do in order to maintain this lead, Jared, they've got to keep doing what they're doing now, playing aggressive offense, playing aggressive defense, and going after every ball and making every rebound count. And if they continue to do that, they can win this game. They can win this game.
Looking up at the stands, I'll tell you one thing you don't see is a lot of walking around.
Oh, no, everybody's in there. They are placid to their seats.
1:33 left to go in this first half. Dothan High on top, 37-14 over Abbeville. Dothan High just really came out from the outset and just had so much intensity and got some big play early on from David Blocker and Larry Brackens, who really have pretty much been the showstoppers for this game.
That gave them a good head start there, and I think Dothan may try to go for one play here.
David Blocker pushing the ball down court, almost nearly turns the ball over. Ball in the corner to Adrian Foreman, back to David Blocker. Kicks the ball up top to Dennis Dury. Dennis Dury over to Adrian Foreman. Foreman back up to Dury, back over to Blocker. Nice ball rotation to Springfield. Misses the three-pointer, but Adrian Foreman right there, Larry Brackens following his shot, follows the shot again, misses it. But look at the rebound. Look at the second chance shots, the hustle.
Three shots. They got 2 offensive rebounds, and the third one, they put it in. So, like I said, they are doing what they need to do in order to maintain this lead and to win this game.
Dothan High looking like a very, very sharp team. Look at Adrian Foreman running the court. You just love to see the effort.
It's like Abbeville is in a daze, you know. They weren't expecting this. They were expecting things to be the other way around instead of this way.
Yeah, I think everybody from Abbeville was definitely expecting Abbeville to probably jump out to an early lead and possibly put Dothan High away. But Dothan High is a very veteran team. As you look down the roster, you see a host of seniors and juniors on the team. So this is a very poised team, and these players have played in this tournament probably 3, if not some of them, maybe 4 years straight.
And experience makes a difference.
Sure
it
does.
makes a difference. You know, you have those guys that have been there and have done that, and they have to become the leaders of the team.
So with 44 seconds left to go in this half, Dothan High has now scored 40 points, and Abbeville has 14. Now Abbeville, number 30, making the move, and that is Craddock, who just had the shot rejected again by Larry Brackens. Number 10, Springfield, comes up with the ball for Dothan High. And one of the Abbeville players is going to be whistled for a foul. So I tell you what, just a lot of frustration right now probably in the Abbeville team.
They're very frustrated. They are very frustrated. You can see it in their faces. and the way they're playing. Dothan High has not made things easy for them. They've made every shot difficult for them. Every time they're going up, Dothan High's in their face. If Bracken's not blocking it, he's almost blocking it and making them change the shots.
So with 32 seconds left to go in his half, number 10, Chris Springfield, is on the line, and I believe he's going to be shooting on 1-and-1 here. And he makes good on the front end of the 1-and-1, so that gives Dothan High a 41-14 lead with 32 seconds left in the first half.
Unbelievable, Jared. Unbelievable.
Chris Springfield makes good on 1-and-1 shot, so he picks up 2 more points. You have 28 seconds left to go in his half, number 20. And look at that. Nothing is going right. You know, the ball just gets stuck up there. And
I tell you what, nothing's going right for Abbeville this half. So I know at halftime they'll regroup, and I guarantee they're going to come out and they're going to make a run for this game. But if Dothan can just keep this intensity, keep this level of play, keep these guys, you know, hey, guys, we got to go out there and we got to win this thing. And like I said, I think what happened with Abbeville, they were looking past Dothan High. They were looking past Dothan High.
Oh, great block by Larry Brackett, just able to elevate and come up with a nice block on the ball. See, he played the ball that time nicely. Nice pass by Springfield to David Blocker. This team is just really, and at halftime, I tell you what, mid a 30-point lead going into halftime is pretty comfortable. That's a pretty convincing lead that says that Dothan High definitely right now is the better team.
I tell you what, half of this crowd here is just in shock. You can tell the Dothan fans from the Abbeville fans. Yeah. The Dothan fans are making a lot of noise, and the Abbeville fans are in shock. And Dothan has played an unbelievable first half. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and get some stats, man, and we're going to come back to you to start the third half with some stats. So just stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Man, I don't know what's going on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to start the third quarter in this action for the quarterfinal game of Dothan High versus Abbeville in the 2001 Holiday Prep Basketball Classic. And I tell you what, Mitt and I have really just been besides ourselves concerning the play of Dothan High at this point. Mitt, what are your thoughts on the game right now?
If I had to describe the first half, I would say it's shocking, shocking. And I think the biggest shock is Abbeville. They didn't expect this kind of play from Dothan High School because Dothan's sporting a 5-4 record, and they're unranked in the state, and Abbeville's sporting an 11-0 record, and they're number 1 in their division in the state. So I think it's just been a shock to the players, the coach, and the fans.
Yeah, Dothan definitely came out with a sense of urgency, and they really wanted to establish the tempo and let Abbeville know that they were a force to be reckoned with. And because of that, we've gotten some excellent ball play out of David Blocker, who is leading all scorers right now with 21 points in the first half. David Blocker, the 6'3" senior guard, has really just been explosive from the offensive end and has turned up 21 points. And also chipping in has been Adrian Fulmer, who's come up with several big defensive steals as well, and has been running the court very well, receiving several assists from Larry Brackens on some outlet passes, and he's contributed 13 points. Larry Brackens has 8 points, but Larry Brackens' defense is what has been so phenomenal at this point as well.
Yeah, what set the tempo of this game was David Blocker came out and he came to play. And I think the intensity that he was playing with spread to the other teammates. Then Brackens and the rest of the guys start chipping in. Brackens played an excellent game defensively. Yeah. He blocked, he challenged either blocked just about every shot that was attempted under the basket.
Yeah, he had about 6 blocks at this point.
Yes, and then on the other end of the court, he has a couple of slam dunks, and he's got a few rebounds, and put a couple of shots back up, and he's been very productive the first half of this game.
Also contributing 2 points was Chris Springfield for Dothan High, and Abbeville's only leading scorer is Chris Jackson with 6 points. And I tell you what, the things have really been surprising right now because Abbeville is down by 30 points, and Dothan has this is a very convincing 30-point lead. It doesn't seem like Abbeville has just been able to get going at all. Dothan has just really played very well offensively and defensively, and really has just set the pace and the tone for this game at this point, and we're about ready to get started with the third quarter, and Abbeville has not yet come out of the locker room.
Jared, what I was saying at the beginning of this game, I said in order for Dothan High to win this game or to be in this game, they got to come out and play the very best that they can. And I don't know what's happening here, but Abbeville's not back out on the court. But anyway, I was saying they would have to come out and play the very best that they can. And I said the problem that Abbeville can have is because they beat Randolph Clay, the defending 5-year-in-a-row champion, that they felt like, well, that was the team to beat. So they didn't feel like there was anybody else they had to really play hard against. And so, but Dothan came out with a different attitude. Dothan came out and said, we're going to make y'all work for it. We're going to make you work for every shot. For every move you make, we're going to make you work for it.
Well, man, we just saw something very strange here. Abbeville, Coach Knight being very lax on getting his team back out to start the second half. I'm sure there was a lot of adjustments he was trying to make in the locker room at halftime, but you can see as soon as Abbeville even came out onto the floor, the referees immediately handed the ball to Dothan High and caused the Abbeville players to try to hustle to get back down court to make a play, and Dothan wound up getting a very cheap, I call it cheap, but an easy 2 points there. So you see, once again, things really not even any better for Abbeville at this point. And now another turnover by Abbeville, and there's 7:15 left to go in the third quarter, and it's 46-14. So Dothan High really just picking back up where they left off.
And Abbeville is picking up where they left off, which is unfortunate for them. They've got to, if they're going to get back into this game, you got to chip away. They need to be within 10, 15 points at the end of the third quarter in order to get back into this game.
And once again, you see that same play that Former and Larry Brackens keep running. And I tell you what, it seems like David Blocker comes up with a great steal and great finish. I tell you what, Blocker, I don't know what to say about David Blocker right now. The young man really is just on go.
he has been very impressive tonight. Wow. And like I say, Brackens just blocked that shot. We talked about that at halftime, how Brackens was blocking shots and Blocker was making shots, and they were working both ends of the court, and they've started the second half the same way.
6:36 left to go in this.
To your points, number 40, Chris Jackson.
In this third quarter. And a 2-pointer by Chris Jackson, and now a steal and a foul, I believe, on Dennis Dury, number 33 for Dothan High.
Dothan got a little careless with the ball that time. They can't lose focus. They got to make sure that they protect the ball and just take your time. Abbeville's behind. They're the one that's got to catch up. So you just take control of the ball, and if you get a good fast break, take it. If you don't, go down and use some of the clock. Yeah, you work the ball around.
Yeah, you might want to see Dothan High just go ahead and start setting up in a couple of half-court settings and again, using some motion and working the ball around and get a high percentage shot here. So we got 6:22 left to go in the third quarter with Dothan High clearly on top by 31 points. It's 48-17 at this point. And now it's 48-18. So 30-point lead by Dothan High.
Dothan's getting careless with the ball.
And now another turnover by Abbeville, another turnover by Dothan High.
And another block by Brackens.
Brackens is going to have a double-double tonight in points and in blocks. And I tell you what, once again, if I'm a college scout, I'm really liking the play I'm seeing by Larry Brackens at this point.
Jared, this is probably the most block shots I've seen in any game, high school game I've ever been to.
Rebound on Brackens. Brackens getting it done on every end. And now a nice assist by Adrian Former to Chris Springfield. So, I mean, everything is just clicking just right, falling right into sync for Dothan High tonight.
Well, it's because of the effort they made, Jared. They have put forth outstanding effort. And you can see there on the rebounds, they're fighting for every rebound, and they're playing some really good ball.
Chris Springfield wide open for the three-pointer. Off the mark there, rebound by Chris Jackson for Abbeville, pushing the ball. Hey, great steal by David Blocker. Look at the hustle, and he got a look. Reach-in foul there by number 14. That's going to be Marquise Green.
That's what I'm talking about, Jared. They're after that ball, and that's what you have to do. You have to stay after that ball. And Dothan High is staying after it. And that's why they're ahead like they are, and that's why they have possession right now. They've got to watch the turnovers. They made 3 turnovers here in the second half, so they've got to be careful with the ball.
So we got 5:25 left to go in this third quarter. Dothan High on top 50-18. And that's number 14, Marquise Green working the ball. Pass it over number 10, that's Derek Wright. Pulls up for a three-pointer, and he's off the mark on the 3 as well. Rebound by Larry Brackens, another rebound. So Larry Brackens may have a triple-double before the night's over with.
Did you see the way he handled that ball there?
Not bad for a 6'6" big man. Larry Brackens once again. But you know one thing that we talked about dealing with 6'6" players in high school, and 6'6" you're a center, but you know at the collegiate level you might just be playing guard and maybe small forward at that point. So, you know, while he's looking real good out here as a big man in high school and college, you know, he may be struggling.
This is unbelievable, Jared. Dothan High is still playing with a lot of intensity. I think they are just out to I tell you, I'm really impressed. I think playing in that tournament down in Mobile against the #1 6A school in the state, even though they lost, I think the experience was good for them.
Right, I think you're right, Mitt.
And they've come into this tournament. They won 2 games in that tournament, and they lost 2 games in that tournament. And they have come into this tournament, and they're playing good basketball.
Yeah, you definitely can probably attribute that to some of the play and experience they gained from that tournament. It's always good to travel and see what other teams in the state are doing. And, you know, whenever you step your level of competition up, you step your level of competition up. And that's just what's happening with Dothan High. They played some very good teams in other tournaments and even in regional play this year. And so I think because of that level of competition, they've been able to show here exactly what they have in their arsenal.
Yes, and they've done a great job just playing basketball tonight.
Yeah.
You know, you can't put it any simpler. In simple terms.
They're definitely making it fun to watch, too. If you're a Dothan High fan, you got to be really excited about what you see tonight.
Yeah, and if you're an Abbeville fan, you're sick. You're sick. I mean, you're just like, you know, what happened? What happened? But that's what happens when you get overconfident. You can get overconfident.
And there's another steal. And that's Dennis Dury. And he can't complete on the layup, so Deshaun Danzy now has the ball. Nice move by Danzy. He gets fouled by Larry Brackens. And I tell you what, Danzy, he had a very big game against Randolph Clay. The big man was handling the ball and really had some positive things happening for him in that earlier game, and just hasn't been able to get the type of touches that I think he wants, or the type of shots that he wants, and he just really hasn't come up for Abbeville at this point. And then again, no one else has really been able to get any shots off as well, or hasn't been dropping any shots.
Well, Danza had 25 points against Randolph Clay, and he played an excellent game. And like I said, my only, you know, the way I see things is that Abbeville was looking past Dothan High. They assumed that they were going to be in the championship game because they had beat the defending champion. So they felt like, okay, we are going to just kind of walk through this. You know, no other team is really going to be able to compete with us. But that's not the case. That's not the case.
So with 3:59 left to go in this third quarter, Dothan High up 54-19. Adrian Foreman with the ball on the left one, kicks it out. A deep three-pointer. My goodness, from Chris Springfield.
That's Springfield with the three-pointer. He had 6 three-pointers against Enterprise. Scoring, he was 6 of 11 from three-point land. This game is, I mean, the outcome has been totally unexpected. I mean, you look up at the clock, it's 3:35 left in the third quarter, and Dothan has a 57-19 lead and the ball. And a slam. Well, not quite a slam, but it wasn't absolutely necessary. But, you know, this is unbelievable.
Nice move by Deshaun Danzy, but can't get it to drop.
I think Bracken's got a piece of that one. Then
Chris Springfield putting on in transition off the mark on the three-pointer.
But Dothan's challenging them. Dothan's challenging. They came out and they took the game to Abbeville, and Abbeville hadn't been able to take the game to Dothan. See, every time they get ready to shoot, you see hands up. They're making it difficult for them to do anything.
I'll tell you what, if you're Northview right now and you're looking at this game, you're kind of wondering, my goodness, if we play Dothan High, they're going to come out with the same type of intensity. Now they're up 40 points.
Well, you know, Dothan and Northview, I don't care what they play, it's always going to be competitive. And if Dothan High continues to hold on and win this game tonight, then they'll play Northview tomorrow night. So that way, one of the Dothan teams will be in the finals.
Yeah, you better believe that that game is gonna be rocking in here for Dothan High and Northview. Anytime those two teams meet, it's always going to be a big turnout. And Abbeville still can't get anything going, and now finally Deshaun Danzy is able to come up with another score. So here we have 2:38 left to go in this third quarter, and the score is 59-21.
Boy, Bracken's putting on a flow show out there, I tell you.
A lot of contact.
That was an awful lot of contact.
The basket good by number 32.
So number 32, Dexter Smith, the sophomore, 5'10" guard, is able to push the ball down court, draw the foul, and make the shot. So with 2:20 left to go in the third quarter, he has a chance for a three-point play, and Dothan is on top, 59-23, holding still a nice, comfortable 36-point lead at this point.
36-point lead, unbelievable. As Howard Cosell would say, unbelievable with the performance here tonight. But Abbeville is still out there. They're trying, but like I said, Dothan is making it very difficult for them to do anything.
That's number 42 for Abbeville.
They got the roll.
Victor Lawrence is a 6'5" sophomore.
What Dothan needs to do is take the ball and just use some of the clock. Use the clock. Use the clock.
Yeah, they really don't have to get in a rush for anything at this point. A lot of contact there, but there was a block. Oh, goodness, I got an offensive charge. And that may have been a good call at that point. I mean, the guy, Danzy had some position. He did hold his ground. It was kind of controversial, but the referee saw a charge there.
What Dothan should have done, he should have kicked the ball back out. Kick the ball back out. Use the clock. Use the clock. You know, and that way, you know, it makes it even more difficult for Abbeville to fight their way back into this game. Dothan's got to keep defensive pressure on and use the clock on the offensive end. Abbeville's been able to run off some points here.
Dexter Smith.
So Dothan needs to just settle down.
Oh, wow, I think we got another charge there. And that was another good call. Again, Deshaun Danzy clearly had position there, and Dothan High player just decided to go up and try to make a play.
Yeah, that wasn't a very smart play either, Jared. He should have just stopped, pulled back, and just pull back and use the clock. Use the clock. Go, you know, hey, don't even let them get close. Don't give them any glimmer of hope. They're down just, what was that, 32 points now?
Yeah, with 1:40 left to go in this third quarter.
You know, you just, I would use the clock a little bit. The rest of this quarter, I'd sell it down, and I'd go into the fourth quarter with the lead and the momentum.
Oh, wow. Chris Springfield comes up with a near steal. And now there is a turnover.
That was William Fincher with the steal there. Why is Dothan rushing? Yeah. Why are they rushing?
Yeah, Dothan High, you really should take your time here, settle down, and work a half-court set. You really don't have to get in a big hurry. You clearly got the game under control.
They're the one that need to get in a hurry. You don't. You can slow it down. And Abbeville has run off probably about 8 unanswered points. Will Fincher with 2. Nice move by Fincher.
We got Charles Medley coming in at the announcer's table now. And Charles, we just want to get some comments from you and tell us, you've been watching the game from the sideline. Tell us what you think about what's going on at this point.
Well, I'll tell you what we've seen tonight has been extraordinary. Abbeville came out with momentum coming into this game by knocking off the 5-time defending champions, and everyone thought the momentum would be in their favor in this game. And Dothan has came out just totally explosive. Dothan has been relentless with the defensive pressure, and the big man in the middle, number 44, he's just been totally unstoppable. This big man is just putting on a crowd-pleasing dunks. I mean, this hasn't been a person here that hasn't been just jumping up out of the seats, totally erratic. I mean, this kid has really been putting on a show, blocking shots, rebounding. I mean, this guy's just playing like a man possessed. Dothan is just playing. I mean, this type of tempo just shows what they have, that they really just concentrate and focus. They play better than their record appears. So right now, they're really just putting on a show for this crowd right now. We really are very enthusiastic about them playing for the championship. If they continue to play this way, I think they will bring the title back to Dothan, Alabama, where it should be. That's all I have to say at this time right now. So,
yeah, that's a good analogy there. What I said earlier at the beginning of this game is that the only way Dothan can win this game, I said, they've got to come out and they got to play excellent. I mean, a perfect game. And I said, and Abbeville's got to have a mental breakdown. They'll have to come into the game thinking that, okay, well, we beat Randolph Clay, who's the toughest team here. So if we get through them, we'll have an easy way to the finals. And that hasn't happened. Dothan High came out, David Blocker set the pace tonight. He came out scoring the first 8 points before, it was like David Blocker 8 and Abbeville 0. So he came out, he set the pace, and I think his inspiration and his level and his intensity spread to the other players. And you saw Brackens pick up his intensity, and he's been relentless under the goal on both ends of the court. He block shots. I mean, this is as many block shots I've seen a single person make in any game I've ever seen.
So, Charles, what do you think the difference is between the team you see tonight in Abbeville and the team that we saw playing Randolph Clay?
Well, looking at Abbeville right now, I'm wondering if they've ever even really recuperated from the other night. I mean, they really came out, they used up a lot of energy against Randolph Clay, and one would have to wonder, even with the day's break, did they just burn themselves out, because they never have gotten on track here tonight. I mean, the mental breakdown in every aspect of the game. Defense, they're breaking down, they're not boxing out, not rebounding. And the big man, number 44, Danzy, he seems to not really be here today. I mean, his mind is just seems to be elsewhere. I think they're really so focused on the win that they had against Randolph Clay that they really forgot that there's other teams in this tournament, and it's just wide open for anybody.
Yes, I think that's a good point. Like I said, you can never count your opponent out. Regardless of the records, like Dothan High came into this game with a 5-4 record, and Abbeville ranked number 1 in the state in their division with an 11-0 record. And so, you know, if you look at the odds of Dothan High winning, they weren't very good. But Dothan High had a 4-game winning streak, and they played in a tournament down in Mobile at Spring Hill College, and they won 2 and they lost 2. And they played against the number 1 6A team in the state, which is Viger. And so I think that level of competition probably helped them prepare for this tournament.
Oh, no doubt. And I'm sure they played against probably a couple bigger guys down there in that area. You probably had some 6'8", 6'9" guys that were in the paint. So it definitely gave them a boost for this tournament here. Once you look at it, I agree with what you said earlier. The statement was made early. We had these kids going to the basket early. What's the number? I don't have his number posted right now. The guard, David Blocker.
Number 15.
Yeah, number 15. I mean, he totally set the tempo of this game. I mean, they were totally taking it to the basket. And again, I agree that ball players feed off of other ball players. And his the way he started this game, I mean, his energy level just spread it to everyone else on his team. You can see the tempo just totally picked up. And I mean, I tell you what, they've been relentless ever since. They haven't slacked up at all.
Okay, if you was Dothan High coach, what would you be telling your players now?
Well, right now, with a margin of with a large margin right now, I would probably actually be working in some of my other players, because you still got another game to play. So I would probably be telling my players, let's slow it down now. Let's run some plays. Let's eat up some clock. You would hate to see some of these guys get hurt right now. Sometimes you could get carried away trying to showboat for the crowd and end up with an injury, and then you got a guy out for the remainder of the tournament, if not the season. So I would really probably be substituting some of my guys in right now and giving the other guys some experience right now coming into the game.
And if you're
I would tell them to, make sure they keep their exposure, run your offense, keep being very tenacious on the defense, and just take it easy. Just enjoy yourselves, but let's not get sloppy. You'd hate to see this turn into a sloppy game.
And from the Abbeville perspective, exactly what can you do as a coach at this stage to kind of help keep your kids in the game?
Well, right now, you have to just tell your players, look, you guys are doing great. This team is just obviously on tonight, and we're not clicking on any cylinders right now. So you just tell them to keep playing hard right now, keep on doing what they're doing, and keep their heads up, because they have no reason to hold their heads down. I mean, you knock out the 5-time defending champion. I mean, you speak for itself. That's a lot of volume. These kids have done great. I mean, they're playing with a lot of heart. A lot of teams would have easily quit. The coach still has the starters in, and he's out here to fight. So with 6 minutes left in the game, anything could happen. I think Dothan has this game well under their control, and but I tell you what, these Abbeville Yellow Jackets, believe me, you'll be hearing from them for the remainder of the year. They just ran against a Dothan team that was just energetic and ready to play ball tonight.
Yeah, Dothan was very well prepared for this game mentally. That's so much of the game is mental, and you know, you may not be as physical as they are, but if your mind is in that game, and David Blanker's mind was in this game when he came out when he came out there after the first 8 points, I started making the Twilight Zone sounds. I told Jerry, I said, he's in the zone tonight.
I'll tell you what, as Dick Vitale would say, hey man, this is all the good hands crew. These guys have been putting their hands on everything that come off the boards, defensive end and offensive end. So I give these guys a lot of props. I'm not taking anything from Dothan, but I tell you what, if you notice, the Abbeville players are still getting to the floor, going out there to loose balls. So these guys have a lot of energy. They're not giving up by far. And I looked at this crowd, and when they came out of the locker room, you know, Dothan fans jumped up and down, and they roared. And I tell you what, when Abbeville came out, man, it was 2-to-1 odds right there. They had definitely had the favor going into this game with the crowd support. But I tell you what, I still have a lot of respect for both teams, and I just think Dothan is much better than their record. I've been saying all along they got a lot of talent down here, and tonight I think this is probably the best they've played all year.
It is. It's no doubt about it. I've seen most of Dothan High's games, and this has definitely been the best. And if they can maintain this level of energy and intensity, then they're going to be hard to beat.
No doubt. I think this will definitely help them going on to the conference games that they're going to be playing later in the season. This has definitely got to be a momentum booster. We're not counting these other teams out by far. We still have some great teams left in this tournament. So right now I just want the kids that are paying attention to the game or listening to receive it live right now. Just remember, it doesn't matter when you get knocked down. It's if you stay down or if you get up and keep fighting. Sometimes you might win the war, but you lose the battle, but you keep fighting.
That's a good point there. And Abbeville, I know they will pull themselves back together, and whoever they play next is going to have their hands full, just like the teams they played in the past. So Coach Knight does a marvelous job with those guys up in Abbeville, and he has a really good, consistent winning program in Abbeville.
Also, I'll tell you what, these guys are 11-0 undefeated. It takes a good team, a real good loss to bring them back down to earth sometimes also. You don't want to get too arrogant and too cocky going into a season. You know, I think this loss has really brought them back down to earth and let them know, hey, we do have some faults and we can improve on some things. Because tonight, I agree, this is a mental breakdown, no doubt in my mind. They never have gotten on track tonight, but like I said, I expect to hear a lot of good things from Abbeville as well as Dothan for the remainder of the year.
Back on the court, I think Adrian Foreman was just called a technical foul. Not sure exactly what the situation was there, but nevertheless, Deshaun Danzy on the line shooting the text with 6:03 left to go in this ball game. Dothan High still with a very comfortable lead, 67-36, 31-point lead over Abbeville at this stage in the game. Substitutions being made by both players.
Danzy gets 2 out of 4 free throws.
Okay,
Dothan calls a 30.
timeout. Dothan calls a timeout, and as we were discussing earlier, it's just been a complete unexpected turnaround in this game. If someone announced the score now and they said that Dothan had 67, Abbeville 37, people would say, well, they must have those scores wrong. It must be Abbeville 67 and Dothan 37.
Yeah, man, we've been saying it throughout the whole telecast. We've just really been just blown away with the level of intensity and play that Dothan High has shown here tonight. But you know what? I really don't think they're playing a lot more than what they've always been capable of playing. As Charles made a good point, he said he always felt that this team was better than their record. You know, they just had to really come out and just really show that. And tonight they really have. So, you know, hats off to Dothan High for the great level of play they've had tonight. And I just hope they are maybe possibly able to continue this. Should they go on to win in the game against Northview on tomorrow night.
Dothan need to just take the ball, slow it down, and just take control of it. And
yeah, you see they got a lot of reserves in now, but you know one thing about reserve players is that they want to come in the game and get their points too.
They're going to try to get on the book, as we used to say.
Nice pass by Deshaun Danzy to number 40. Number 42, Victor Lawrence. Sophomore, 6'5" sophomore with the score.
5:15 left in the game, and Dothan needs to slow it down just to kind of make sure that they don't lose it. I'm like this, it ain't over till it's over. Because, I was saying about the Chicago Bears, they were behind like 14 points with 28 seconds left in the game. And it was no way for them to win that game, but they won it. They won it. So, you can never count a team out. And they did it 2 weeks in a row. They were down. San Francisco had a big lead on them late in the game, and they tied it up and won the game in overtime. So it doesn't matter. You can't ever count a team out until the buzzer go off.
Now with 4:50 left to go in this game, Dothan High still up 67-41 with a nice, well, now the lead that was 32 points is dwindled on down to
26.
28, 26-point lead. So Abbeville slowly but surely chipping away. Deshaun Danzy with a long three-pointer off the mark for the big man. Abbeville chasing the loose ball down, controlled by number 10 over to number 32, who shoots another three-pointer off the mark again. Almost a rebound by number 30 now. Abbeville continue to get second chance.
Dothan needs to
10, Derek Wright. Now Deshaun Danzy with the ball again, dribbling, penetrating, throws a ball up, and is not able to convert as he's shooting, but he does draw the foul. So Abbeville not giving up, still trying to salvage something in this game, and perhaps just have any type of turnaround they can to get some threes or good looks at the goal to possibly continue to cut into this huge lead that Dothan High has developed.
Well, what Dothan needs to do, they are not controlling the ball. They are getting careless with it, and they're making unnecessary turnovers.
Like we said, when you get reserve players in, a lot of times they get focused on, well, we got a big lead, let me get my points too. So if they can just come up with a loose ball on defense, they already off to the races and want to try to get some points on the board as well. So like you said, though, they can't get careless at this point. They got to continue to play good ball.
They kicked the ball. Okay, they call it.
4:22 left to go in this game. Dothan High still leading 67-42, 25-point lead.
So what Dothan need to do is use the clock. I'd go, I wouldn't care.
Good defense by Abbeville that time.
Don't shoot.
Breaks the press.
Use the clock. Use the clock. Okay, that's Dre Smith with that. He's a pretty good ball player. He played an extremely well game against Rehoboth. He's a good offensive rebounder, and he get a lot of good shots on the basket.
Deshaun Danzy off the mark on the three-point attempt. Ball loose on the floor, number 30.
Dothan still hustling out there, and that's what it takes. Great shot by Smith.
Dre Smith with a little fake like he was going to pass and decided to keep the ball himself and go all the way to the hole. Now Dre Smith with the rebound.
He blocked that shot and got the rebound. So Smith, he's a good ball player. I've seen him.
Nice anticipation by Chris Jackson on.
Boy, nothing's going right for Abbeville tonight. He went for the slam and didn't make it.
I tell you really don't need that if you're an Abbeville player right now. You just got to kind of get the easy deuce and make sure you're going to get the shot, The game may be a bit out of control, but you got to keep playing ball.
Dothan back on defense, and they wasn't going to give him an easy layup, but it's a foul on the play. 2:59 left, 71-42. Dothan with a commanding lead, and they're still playing with some intensity. They've gotten a little careless with the ball, but they have really, outstanding performance tonight by the Dothan High Tigers.
And for the first time tonight, the fans are come unglued from their seats. People starting to pile out. They kind of figured Dothan High's got everything under control, which they do. 71-42 lead with 2:59 left in this game. Dothan High will go on and advance in the semifinal round. And I tell you what, they're going to have some pretty stiff competition against a Northview team who played very well tonight. They remain poised after a very seesaw battle against Ashford High. But I tell you what, you better believe that this place is going to be jumping again tomorrow night. And two surprising team, Goshen, coming in to play against Barber County, which I believe is going to be a very exciting basketball game. Those two teams should match up pretty well, and I'm really looking forward to the matchup of Ken Pelton and Michael Blackman tomorrow night with Goshen and Barber County. So 2:50 left to go in this contest. Dothan High leading 71-43. Abbeville the ball.
What Dothan needs to do now, the players that are out there on the floor, you know, you put them out there to get some experience, but they need to execute. You don't just go and run up and down the court and shoot the first, shoot the person that crosses the court first, shoot the ball. You go out there and you execute. You try to work some plays, you try to move inside, you try to get some things that, you try to get something out of, whenever you're on the floor, you should try to get something out of it.
I agree 100%. I mean, like I said, you don't want to feed too much off the crowd. You got a huge lead. You need to be working on your game plan because, like I said, there's another game left in this tournament. So I think by all means they should really be focusing on their plays and making sure they're playing good defense because you never know when someone's going to have to come in because some of your starters getting foul trouble. So everyone should play up to the best of their abilities and play controlled offense right now. You got to lead, you work on your plays, and you don't get too happy with the fans. You don't feed off their energy too much. Just stay focused and stick to your game plan because, like I said, there's another game and there's some more teams out here and they're hungry also, just like Dothan is.
That's right. You can never count your opponent out. And the thing I think you need to do, even if the second string's in there, you work, you execute. So, you know, when the time comes and you go into the game, you're prepared.
I agree with that 100%. Like I said, you got to remember, this is another game. This is one night you were on, you were clicking on all cylinders, but hey, the next game you may not be on all cylinders. You're going to have to rely on some of your second string guys to come in. So definitely stay focused.
Abbeville with 2 quick baskets. So what Dothan needs to do is just, like I said, control the ball. Get across. Another turnover.
10-second violation.
And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. You know, you got to let the crowd go right now because the subs are coming in right now, but they're not playing very well. I mean, I'm sure Golden has worked with these kids, and they're not being focused right now. I think they're trying to showboat and hope someone gets a little easy dunk or something to get the crowd all involved. But you got to look beyond that. Like I said, you know, you have other games to play. You need to settle down, run your offense, and just keep your composure. That's what it's all about right now.
And play good defense. Get your hands up. See, nobody had the hands up there. You should always have your hand up on defense. You should always challenge the shooter.
And let's just remember, Abbeville was down at one time by 40-plus points. And let's remember, this lead is only down to 21 points. I know some of the starters are out of the game for Dothan, but Abbeville has not quit. These kids coming in, and they're still scrappy. They're going for the loose balls. They're still hustling on the glass. And, hey, these kids got a lot of heart, and they're ready to play some ball.
Yeah, you can't be a champion and not have heart.
That's right.
You can't be a champion and not have a lot of heart. And these guys, they're out there playing hard. They're playing hard. They just got off to a slow start tonight. Dothan came out with a very good game plan. And the players were ready for this game. So, but like you said, that's this game. Next game, it could be totally the opposite.
Yeah.
So you gotta, when you're out there, you gotta be preparing yourself for your next game.
Well, you made a very good point, Mid, about Abbeville and the next opponent in regular season play. Somebody's going to have their hands full because anytime that you're ranked #1 in the state and you come out and basically, you know, rather embarrassed in this game a little bit, you better believe some serious adjustments are going to be made in the regular season, and they're going to capitalize off of this loss and definitely chalk it up and go on probably to have a very successful season for the remainder of the season.
I expect Abbeville will be up there when the season ends. I expect they'll be right up there at the top and probably go on to play in the state finals.
I've always believed that when you have a team that comes in and, you know, they get the high rankings early in the season, everyone's expecting them to just easily be handed the championships. I think it's extremely good for a team to lose like this. It really, you know, it really builds their character and they really find themselves because sometimes when you're riding a high horse, you got to get knocked down before you can rebound and get back up again. And then they'll understand and appreciate the wins and understand, hey, we just had a good night this night, but some other nights there might be some other teams that's ready.
Wow.
Norton.
Number 22, Jarvis Norton, a 5'10 senior, showing the hops there on that dunk. And I tell you what, for B5'10, he certainly has some serious leaping ability. So, you know, he definitely trying to keep the crowd in this game.
He got up there that time.
Yeah,
I tell you what.
I tell you what, when I was 5'10, I was just thinking about touching the net.
Well, Jared, I could dunk a ball when I was 5'6".
You was all right.
Really, that's one thing I could jump. Couldn't do much anything else, but I could jump. But, yeah, that was an outstanding.
So here with 40 seconds left to go in this game, Dothan High will go on to win very convincingly. The score right now 79-52 with Simon Davis, number 30, at the line shooting free throws. So Dothan High is going to go on to meet Northview in the semifinal round. And Northview defeated Ashford earlier 72-62 in a hard-fought battle.
12, Jonathan Mathis.
And you better believe that the game between Northview and Dothan is going to be a hard game.
That one goes to number 22.
25 seconds left in this game. 81-54 is the score. Simon Davis pulling back for a three-pointer, off the mark on a three.
I'll tell
14
you,
seconds left to go in this game.
this has been a shocking game, to say the least. Like I said, I expected things to be totally different. I knew Dothan High could probably play with them if they came out and played up to their potential, but I never expected this. But, you know, I felt like Abbeville could come into this game overconfident, that they were looking toward the championship game and not the semifinals and the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
I agree 100%. Like I said, you got 4 teams out there that are hungry. These guys want this just as much as you do, so you can't drop your guards by no means in every aspect of the game. You got to come prepared to play, and the bottom line is he who hustles wins. So let's just remember that. All you kids that are listening, he who hustles wins. It's not the size of a man, but the heart in the man.
And there's the final buzzer, ladies and gentlemen. Dothan High prevails over Abbeville by the score of 83-54. And I tell you what, man, this has just been really exciting game for Dothan High and the Dothan High program. And as we mentioned before, we were looking, I know a lot of people were looking to see the title come back to an Alabama team after Randolph Clay has clearly dominated this tournament for the past 5 years. And it looks like now Dothan High may be on track to be the team to beat.
I tell you what, we will have an Alabama champion this year for sure. I think what happened here early is Dothan just took charge of the game. Dennis Blocker came out of the starting gates, and I mean from the tip-off to the end of the game, Dothan played an outstanding game. And Blocker, his intensity, his abilities just spread to all the other players, and everybody got into the game, and everybody played an excellent game. And that's the kind of game Dothan I had to play in order to win. But I never would have thought they would have won this convincingly.
David Blocker wound up leading all scorers with 25 points. And also Adrian Farmer had 15 points. Larry Brackens had 18 points with probably about 10 or 11 block shots, and probably I'm sure Larry Brackens had a triple-double on the night. I'm sure he had double digits in rebounds, blocks, and he had 18 points. So, we saw some just exceptional play from the seniors on this team. And I tell you what, the coach couldn't be more pleased with what he saw tonight. They really came out and executed well offensively and defensively and got a lot of positive things done for them. So I think that we're going to really see a high level of intensity tomorrow also with Dothan High and Northview, because you know they're always going to get up for that game.
Oh yeah, they'll be up for that game. They'll play 2 more times this year, so this game will be the predecessor to the other 2 times that they'll play this year. But Abbeville, you know, they never did get into the game. They never were able to get things together. Dothan jumped on them so hard and so intense that they never had the opportunity to get into that game plan. And like I said, this game was unbelievable. Dothan High was just, I mean, fantastic. And I've said this before, but I said there's one way Dothan High can win this game. And I said they will have to play their very best game of the year. I said that Abbeville would have to come in here and they would have to be looking past Dothan High. Since they beat the defending champions, they would have to be looking past Dothan High, and I believe that's exactly what happened. They were looking past Dothan High, and they thought that they would have a cakewalk to the championship game, but that didn't happen thanks to the Dothan High Tigers.
Teams that we will see in the semifinals will be Goshen versus a very surprising Goshen team, who I tell you what has really shown that they definitely came to play there. They seem to have been very surprising. I think a lot of people have been shocked. This is their first appearance in this tournament, and they will be playing 2A state champions from last year, Barber County High School, in the first game of the semifinal round. And then Dothan High will be playing Northview right here for the second game of the semifinal round.
Now, what time will that game be between Dothan and Northview?
Dothan and Northview game will be at 7:30 p.m. So I tell you what, this place will probably be rocking.
Okay, we're down to the Final Four now.
Down to the Final Four. We're at the 2001 Holiday Prep Classic Final Four. And for Mitt Kirkland, I'm Jared Virgil with Graceba Cable 6 Sports. Thanks a lot for watching.
That final score, 83-54, Dothan over Abbeville.
All right.